Welcome back to The Standard. We're again joined by Dave Phillips, a professional counselor and therapist who's finding ways to cope with the sudden death of his 17-year-old son. Dave, you used a metaphor that I found was really interesting of two streams, someone swimming in the midst of these two currents. Explain what you mean by that.
Right, and even, as you do, I'm not thinking of streams going against each other. I came up with a metaphor. I grew up in Kamloops, and, the word Kamloops from the Shuswap tribe means the joining of the waters, the North Thompson and South Thompson River come. And when you stand on the Overlander Bridge there in Kamloops, you can see the two rivers kind of going parallel with each other, for a number of miles. And you can see that they're different rivers. One's kind of the muddy river and the other's the clear river. And that's really how I've experienced, it's a metaphor that's helped me understand my experience of grief. That on the one hand, and I always call it my current on the right, which is the muddy water, is really my current of grief. And that's for the most part, is just the brokenheartedness that I experience, the sadness I feel in the loss of, my very dear son. And sometimes the currents move me over there, and I have to swim in that current. And I think if that's where I stayed, that is where sometimes this sort of pain can easily become suffering for us. And we can be overwhelming and overcome by it.
So how do you get out of that?
Well, you don't have to get out of it. The idea that I've played around with, and I'm trying to see if experientially it's robust and hangs together, is if I just allow the natural currents then to move me back into the clear stream when they do. And the clear stream for me is just the rest of my life. The rest of my two boys, my wife, my career, my friends, my spirituality, my faith, my God, all of that which is still there and is there to be lived. I think for a lot of people, they've got ideas that say these two streams cannot be compatible, that if you are in suffering, you cannot find joy, you cannot find beauty in life any longer. And I think that is an error that can cause deep, deep problems.
Have you seen that you just wrote a book called The Colors of God Toward an Emerging Theology, in which you, and I was with you in this process, you challenge some of the notions in Christianity about how they understand spirituality, and you move beyond that.
Right.
What are some of the ideas does that take place in the world of grief too? Are you challenging some Christian notions?
Well, and not to pick specifically on Christianity, but within a modern understanding of God, there is this idea that we can't be angry in our grief. And I think anger is just a normal part.
Even angry at God?
Absolutely. I mean, although I don't believe that God caused this accident or selected Sean for punishment or anything like that, to be angry at the fact that a 17-year-old boy was taken when his whole life is before him is a very frustrating tragedy. And who am I going to be mad at if not my God? And so a view of God that can contain that can say God can hold those feelings, it would be very, very important.
That's very interesting.
But it's not just the issues of bitterness, but I think as I look at the modern view of spirituality within Christianity, it's can you embrace your life? Can you embrace your sensualities? Can you enjoy the tastes and the feelings that you have? I remember listening to a talk show soon after Sean died, and a woman called in, and she had lost a child, and she had said that she was feeling guilty about her sexuality, that she no longer felt that she could pursue her sexuality because it would be wrong to do so while she was grieving her son. And I remember thinking at that point, no, you must continue to walk with your sexuality while you are grieving, that these streams must flow together. You must experience both, and then you allow the flow of life to just direct which stream you're in at any given time.
One of the things I thought was really beautiful of how you process is that you went and got a tattoo.
Yeah.
This is your first tattoo.
First tattoo,
And you got this tattoo.
I don't like pain, so I was always afraid of getting a tattoo.
Why the tattoo? It's beautifully done. Tell me a little bit about what that process was like for you.
Well, for me, I wanted something that could, cement me to Sean and say it's always with me. I wear a bracelet, but bracelet is something you put on and off. So I decided to get it on my right shoulder because it's something I could just put my hand on. It just connects me to his memory. And so the tattoo I decided to get was obviously just saying, his death date and whatnot, but also the 12th man flag of the Seattle Seahawks was on there.
He loved the Seahawks.
Oh, he was a Seahawks fanatic, and he loved the culture of the Seahawks. And the 12th man within the Seattle Seahawks is this intensity and tenacity of the fans. And that was Sean. He was an all-star athlete, and that's the kind of spirit that he brought to his whole life. He had challenges. He didn't see well. He had arthritis in his back, and yet he was an all-star athlete. He overcame these things with hard work and perseverance. And so I got this tattoo, and it's got the 12th man, and it says on the bottom of it, forever, my son, which is to be thought of, I have forever with my son, which is my faith and my spirituality, but also to say, you forever will be my son.
You said this idea of forever, he's it's part of your spirituality.
Yeah.
Do you believe you'll see Sean again?
Randall, this is something that I have found to be almost distressing within the Christian faith is if we believe nothing, we believe in heaven, and we believe that those who die, we will see them again. And yet I find a lot of people don't, when it comes to these points of tragedy, don't really understand how real that is for them. And so this idea that I'm going to see Sean again, I was driving with Adele and we were talking, and I said to her the verse where Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." I said, the only comfort that's going to make any difference to me, I don't want God patting me on the back saying, there, Dave, I'm sorry for your loss. The only comfort that's going to mean anything to me is that I'm going to be with Sean again, and I'm going to see him again. And so when Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, who experience loss," you'll be comforted, you'll see your loved one again.
Dave, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a really fascinating conversation. And again, thanks for being honest and real about your life.
It's been a lot of fun.
You can again check out Dave's website at cares.ca. Up next, Shannon Nelson talks with the lead singer of The Cult when The Standard returns.
Here comes the rain. Here